All right, guys, we're going to get started here. First of all, thank you for coming out. It's obviously our first live show as a podcast, as a group. We appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. The trick was we wanted to pick a small, intimate environment just so we could see how gorgeous and handsome our audience was. And this is now, Donnie's in the back of the room. Give it up for Donnie, guys, the one-time Donnie. Now, he's been out to some other podcasts that have done live events, especially one here, Anus. The Anus Boys did a podcast. Donnie says that we officially have a more attractive audience than Anus. So congratulations. Pat yourselves on the back for that one. Before we get started, we're going to do a little community shot here. If you have a shot, that's great. If you have a drink, that's great. If not, whatever. Do your thing. But we're going to get started with one community, one on stage here. So cheers. Let's have a good show, guys. Have fun. And for the record, Big T has just unknowingly ingested LSD. So this is going to be a fun night.
I don't know that you're fucking with me.
We'll find out.
He's not. I don't know if I am either. Yeah, we'll find out together. You let us know. So yeah, it's fun to be here. Thank you to Lucky Jacks for having us. Thank you for everyone for attending, obviously. So this is Big T. If you don't know Big T, this is him. We got Arian Foster. Please let him know if you had him on your fantasy team and he disappointed
Arian.
you.
All right.
We got Billy Football.
How are we doing, guys?
You guys might know Billy. Billy put on his most psychedelic dress shirt today.
It's my formal camo. No, I mean,
Yeah.
tie-dye.
Yeah, and then we got Coley down at the end there. You guys know him, big dude. It's actually a very big podcast, myself notably absent. And then Mad Dog at the end. Mad Dog.
I want my introduction redone with clapping.
Okay. You heard it from Big T. Please clap.
Thank you.
And then Avery over here. Avery, producer. So yeah, we're just going to get into it. We're going to shoot the shit a little bit here tonight. You guys all passed up some conspiracy theories you want us to get into or some weird topics that we're going to get into, which we're happy to do. But I guess we can just talk about how our days went today. I know I had a pretty good one. If you listened to yesterday's show, we did the podcast on China loosely. I think we got into China in about like 40 minutes, which is a pretty big improvement on what we normally do. But Donnie was joining us as our correspondent, and there was a part of the show that we were talking about how easy it is to just sneak onto subways, right? You jump over the fucking subway turnstile, and you don't really have to pay.
Yeah.
In fact, Coley, did you say like if you pay, you're a cop?
I didn't go that far, but now that you say it, yeah, that makes sense.
It's cop-like behavior. So Donnie took that to heart, attempted to sneak under the turnstile today. And
card was not working. Okay.
His card wasn't working, so he snuck under the turnstile, and Donnie got arrested. So
No, but a cop yelled at me and made me walk back out and figure out a way to buy a ticket. It was very humiliating.
that's almost worse, the walk of shame from going underneath a turnstile.
Sure.
I would rather a cop caught me fucking on the subway and actually escorted me out than doing that. That's tough. But Arian's here in town. We're gonna start bringing him up into New York City more often, I think, because it's a lot more fun doing this face to face. It's easier. So Arian, are you a New York City guy? Do you like New York City?
I can do it in like spurts. I can't live here. Like everybody's so mad, and so it's really odd. Cause I'm not a nice person, and so like when you do nice things for people and they're mad, like they take it as disrespect. So it's like a really weird dynamic. So
Yeah, it's like I can get this door on my own. What the fuck are you doing?
yeah,
Like
you're
I got
mad.
two
Like,
arms.
What do you think I'm not capable? I'm like, nah, fam, it's just making your day a tad easier, but whatever.
One thing I've noticed about New York is that people they're aggressively nice to you sometimes, and sometimes you can take the aggression in their niceness as them being pissed off at you and then being like, you feel a little bit intimidated
Give me
sometimes.
an example of aggressively nice.
So there was one guy, I remember I was getting on a ferry to go somewhere. I didn't have exact change, and he was buying a hot dog right next to me. And he pulled up, and he just like shoved $10 into the guy's hand. And I was like, thank you. He was like, yeah, don't mention it. And then he like ran away. Didn't even let me like get his name or anything. I was like, wow, that guy's a dick.
Kinda.
Yeah, but wait, no, he's actually the nicest person ever. It fucked with my head for a second. But I know that Arian likes coming up here a lot and get to hang out and have his face-to-face disagreements with Big T. And I think what I learned yesterday is they're way more productive.
Slowly coming together as a...
Every once in a while, we find one thing that I actually, today, one of my old professors from college asked me to speak to his class, and one of the kids asked what it's like dealing with Arian all the time, because we always disagree. And I was like, I love Arian. He's one of my favorite people. We just disagree on nearly everything in the world. So
I think Big T's becoming a lib.
I don't think so.
That's what we slowly moving them to the left a little bit.
I don't think so.
What was the class that you were speaking at?
Sports writing, the University of Tennessee.
Okay.
How was that?
It was cool. It made me feel pretty good. One of the kids was like, "Phil, you taught Big T?" I was like, "That made me feel pretty good."
Nice. Yeah. So you took questions from the youngsters molding America's minds?
A couple, yeah.
What'd you tell them about sports writing? If there's a chick in the stands with like huge knockers, you better get that blog up fast.
Yeah, I kind of told him. I haven't used as much of my classical training as many of them would like, so maybe not to listen to me too much. But yeah, it was fun.
You're like, yeah, work for Coley. He's a very good boss.
He
Coley,
is.
what's Big T? Your honest evaluation of Big T as a writer?
Big T's made a lot of strides since I took over. When he started, he didn't know how to give takes really, which I mean, not everyone's been molded by the internet like you. But he didn't understand like the takes. I told him to lean into his sarcasm because when he's very dry and sarcastic, he actually is very funny. And ever since he's done that, I feel like he's been much better.
Be more dry. You're too wet, Big T.
I've been told. I've been told, yeah.
Wet tea. And Coley, what's your honest evaluation of Billy as a blogger? Billy's been blogging a lot recently. He even brought his computer here tonight in case he had to fire up an emergency one.
We were in the Uber on the way here, and he was like, "I really want to blog about the space station that just blew up." And I was like, "What? What? Like Billy?"
Hang on.
Speaking to the mic.
Billy. Who is it? Is it me? No. Oh yeah, it's Billy.
Fucking Billy.
How's it me? Yeah, it's not me. But yeah, so Russia blew up a satellite, and all the debris almost took out the International Space Station.
Troublesome.
They had them all in the emergency escape pods.
They blew up their satellite?
They blew up their own satellite.
Gotcha.
They're working on anti-satellite missiles. Seriously, it's a fact.
So they built their own satellite to blow it up. That's
Exactly.
pretty fucking cool.
But then, like, the debris almost hit the International Space Station. Interesting blog.
Yeah.
But I had to come to the live show, so.
Sorry, Billy. Sorry that we took you away from your
I
job.
say you write it, man.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we posted a guy who just got mauled to death by a bear. He didn't understand why we couldn't post that one. He has a very, I love Billy's mind. You never know, like when I click a Billy, he's the worst headline writer in the country, like far and away the
What
worst.
was the title of the one that was like, "This is why Americans should own AR-15s"? Because I saw it before it got posted, and then it went up, and it was like, "Oh, watch this pig get shot." And I was like, "Well, that's no fun."
Hey, look, I started 3 months ago blogging. It's a process. I didn't have the classical training Big T had. I just sort of jumped in there and just started shooting from the hip. So,
I like that. And by the way, Coley, the blog was not about a bear killing somebody. The bear TKO'd that guy. Billy brought that up on part of my take. Yeah, it was a good decision. The ref made the right call on that
The story was fine. The picture is seared into my brain.
Well,
I'll never get that dead Russian out of my brain.
if the New York Post can post it, why can't we post
I don't work
it?
for the fucking New York Post, Billy. I don't give a shit what they do.
Also, if the New York Post is your standard for journalism,
Yeah.
come on,
National
man.
Enquirer posted this Bill Clinton rape story. Why didn't you? Like, that's why.
Bat Boy's back. By the way, what's up with Bat Boy? I don't know how old the median demographic here is in the room, but when I was growing up, every time I go through a supermarket checkout, it was always like Bat Boy this, Bat Boy's doing that. I feel like I haven't heard anything about Bat Boy. Do you remember Bat
I
Boy?
don't remember Bad Boy, fam.
It was just like a picture of a guy that looked like a gremlin bat that the New York, or no, it was the Enquirer. They would trot that out every now and again. Just be like, wow, he got found again. That guy had like the worst OPSEC of all time. He was getting caught everywhere.
Where did you see this?
It was just always in the newsstand when I'd check out.
You used to,
I don't know.
oh.
Somebody, Big T, can you figure out what's going on with Bat Boy?
The last
I'll look
Bad
into
Boy
it.
article I saw was they found him in the hole with Saddam.
Okay.
That was actually the last. That was actually the last one they made.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Got Bat Boy. Case closed. But yeah, it's been good having Arian up here face to face with everybody, and Coley also coming in from out of town. Went out, had a little team dinner last night, ate some Korean barbecue.
Which was my first time having. Thank you. And I also found out yesterday his name is Eric. I didn't know that.
Now he just won't stop calling me Eric.
Not a fan of the name.
No.
Sounds like.
No, I mean, I like it. And so I'm going to start calling you that.
All right, yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. It's like a little kid learning a cuss word for the first time. That's all they'll say. That's all they'll keep repeating. Has the LSD kicked in yet?
Not yet. Still waiting.
All right.
How mad would you be if we really did give you LSD?
I'd be fucking pissed.
That shit would open your mind, though, man. You fuck around and be...
I told y'all, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we'll do something. I don't know what.
I think LSD's a... We should not...
No, not that.
enter
It'll
the
be
arena.
something much below that, but we'll do something.
Well,
So if y'all haven't subscribed on YouTube, go do that.
Well, microdose.
Yeah, and watch Avatar or National Treasure 2
Both.
or both.
3 is...
It's gonna be a long trip, friend. We got time for both.
We do
Where
have.
with the 3? Did
I
they-
think it's like in production.
Yeah. Now, when that comes out, we'll do
That-
a show where it's just us doing like our own soundtrack for it. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You press play on Dark Side of the Moon, listen to Macrodose as National Treasure 3 is
Which
playing.
is like a watch party.
Yeah. A live watch party.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. That's not a bad idea.
And we'll get sued. That'll be fun.
I did have a question I wrote down. I struggle to read my own handwriting sometime. Big T was just looking at this and giving me shit about it because I like to write messy on purpose so that way if the government finds my shit, they won't be able to read anything that I say. I thought that Big T would like that, but I had a question for him because this is hot in the news.
Okay.
It's hot in the news, or at least it's hot in your head recently, which is the debate on Cracker Barrel and Waffle House and IHOP.
What's the
Well,
debate?
there was that viral video that went around.
Oh,
of
people talking shit
trying-
about Cracker Barrel, these dumbass New Yorkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the debate?
I'm just curious where you stand. If you, I think I know how you'd rank all three of
Oh,
them.
well,
but-
so Waffle House is so far and above the other two, it's not even funny. Then Cracker Barrel,
I don't know about
and
that.
then IHOP. IHOP is for poors.
it's also the most expensive
They're
one
not
of those three.
sponsoring
I
anything.
think.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, but like, so Waffle House is clearly at the top, right? The vibes at Waffle House are unbelievable. You go there at 2 a.m, you might see a fight. You're gonna get like maybe delicious food, maybe it's horrible. It might not even be cooked. You don't know. That's part of the fun. Cracker Barrel's very solid. Good vibes. You play checkers, go out in the rocking chairs, whatever. IHOP, you walk in, and it's like all the bad parts of Waffle House with none of the cool parts.
I agree with that. That's the best way to describe IHOP. I
Yeah,
think.
it's just the bad shit.
And well, I mean, sometimes they got some decent breakfast there. You can get like a good meal, but it doesn't have the ambiance.
No, it's just like a...
Doesn't have the danger of Waffle House.
Kids pancakes, they go crazy for those. But other than that, there's nothing
Yeah.
about IHOP. IHOP is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Low on the tier.
Where do we stand
Agreed.
over on that side?
Waffle House is dinner and a show.
Yeah. Good point. You might get into a fight with a cook. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think Big T's actually ever been to an IHOP. I think he's just projecting.
No,
what
I
he
have,
assumes
and
it
it's
to be.
horrible. I won't go back.
I think you're describing
The
Denny's
last
when you're
time
really
I was
top.
at Waffle House, the cook was dressed as Jason from Friday the 13th, and he was wielding a knife at a child. It was awesome. That's why you go to there was no imminent threat of violence. He was just like, oh, haha.
Sounds like there was.
It sounds like
the kid thought it was awesome. The kid thought it was awesome.
Sounds like the cook was standing his ground. It's within his rights to do so.
There was no imminent threat of bodily harm. The kid loved it.
Big T hears International House of Pancakes, and he's like, "This reminds me too much of the UN." I'm out. We love Big T. We do. I think we've gotten a good vibe going on the show. It's one of my favorite things that we do. I really like on Mondays we get in. Sometimes I wake up a little bit tired from 12 hours of watching football on Sundays, but I get to come in and just hear what facts Billy's going to bring to the table that day. It's exhilarating. And so, well, actually, Arian, so we've had this debate on Part of My Take before, but we should talk to you about it a little bit since you did play in the league for a while. What's harder, being a podcaster, now that you've had some experience, or getting 25 carries on Sunday? And two passes. Your hands are good.
Is this where we're going to do the 30? You going to shoot me 30 right here?
I'll
Probably
shoot you
should.
30. I'll shoot you 30.
You hope I forgot about that. But see, I didn't flinch?
No.
I was like
No,
Kobe
he's
and
not
Matt
scared.
Barnes.
I notice you're ducking the question.
No, it's a stupid fucking question. That's why.
Podcasting. Yeah, I got
We're
you.
literally drinking alcohol and talking so.
Lawrence Taylor was doing everything. I don't know that that's the barometer.
That's facts. This ain't gonna hurt afterwards. God damn it, Billy. No. This ain't gonna hurt. Like sometimes like there would be games. Not to what was me, but there'd be games like the next day I would wake up and couldn't really walk right, like for real. And so like there are weeks where I wasn't able to jog until like Friday because of the
Same.
The pain.
Sometimes, some weeks I don't jog at all.
I haven't jogged the whole year.
Whatever.
So, podcast is
All
obviously
right,
harder.
talk to me once you put in like 10 years of it, and then we'll see. Also, another thing that I saw today, I wrote down 3 things. The Waffle House thing I wanted to talk about.
You holding it up like this, like there's like nothing on this fucking card.
Yeah.
It's like some more. And in other news,
Well, when we did the runner show for tonight, we were like, how are we going to start it? And we just said, we're going to riff, because that's what we do. That's how we get into the zone when we do this podcast. But I wanted to get everybody at this table's opinion, because I know that we definitely have some strong takes on this one about the debate on Taylor Swift. Specifically, Taylor Swift, the debate, her, or, well, there are a lot of other people she was being compared to, but today I saw Whitney Houston or
fuck
Taylor
outta
Swift. You're a big Swiftie?
that's disrespect. I refuse to let the Queen be compared to. Taylor Swift is so talented. Don't get me wrong, very talented artist. But to compare like one of the greatest voices of all time to Taylor Swift is stupid, actually.
So my opinion is that it's like Whitney Houston way more talented than Taylor Swift. Way better singer than Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's body of work, she's 31 right now, so it's only going to continue to grow as she gets older. I say Whitney Houston is a better singer than Taylor Swift. I agree with you on that one.
Of course.
I think Taylor Swift's a better storyteller.
Oh, there we go. Good point. That's a good point.
But you can't even count that because, like, low key, like, pop star and Whitney Houston was a pop star. Like, pop stars don't even write their own music, really. So it's like.
But Taylor does.
Taylor does.
All this came out of nowhere. I hear you, man, dog. But that's what I'm saying. So, like, I was talking about Whitney, right? So it's like, sure, like, so she picked the wrong songs. I'm not arguing about it. I was just talking about vocal talent. Like, it's objectively better. Like, scientifically even better. She can hit. No, this is why. And
Now you're talking like Billy was.
No, it's not even bullshit. All right, so like
football
there's shit
law.
called range, right? And so like octave. You're a musician, so like she could hit more. There's a very few amount of people that can hit 5 octaves, and Whitney can hit 5 octaves. Like Taylor's like in the low 4s. Like it's not even. Somebody Google.
Some days it's 5, other days
Somebody
it's 3.
Google.
Actually, no.
Somebody Google.
No, to back Arian up. Axl Rose was considered one of the most athletic singers in that same way that he had the range and strength.
It's a thing. It's a
Whitney
thing.
Houston, I can see. Yeah.
No, she was one of the rare singers that could hit 5 octaves. Like there's no 5 octave singers out right now. I guarantee you.
There's one.
Taylor Swift cannot hit 5 octaves. There you go. You have a laptop.
But who?
This is you compare like this is not you compare Whitney to like Mariah or like Aretha Franklin or like you don't. This Taylor Swift is a pop singer who's very talented, has music that's cool to listen to, and
What's the Wi-Fi?
I think Whitney's like 8. I think she's got like 8.
Taylor's the only one that could write a 10-minute version of All Too Well and then re-record it with her own money. You guys are fucking crazy.
nobody. Time out.
But she.
Time out, Mad Dog. You gotta get out of your feelings real quick.
No, that's
Yeah,
the
you
whole
do.
point of Taylor Swift.
I don't disagree with that actually. Are you telling me that she can hang vocally with
No.
Whitney? Okay,
I
good.
didn't
That's all
No,
I was. I just wanted to
as
draw
an-
the line right
As an
there.
artist, and I hate to break it to all of you in this fucking room, none of you are women. So,
Are we not allowed to comment?
or,
You just assume my pronouns?
no,
That was fucking funny.
Thank you.
you guys don't understand the grip as a 22-year-old girl she has on my throat.
I do not actually. Yeah.
I would do anything for her. And you guys don't get it. You guys just
No,
don't-
I do. Taylor Swift is future for white women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly who she is.
That's
She's
a fire.
And what
That's a
said-
fire
People are
take.
toxic.
That's
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No! We were talking about this at work yesterday. With a couple of people that will not be named that are in my engineering class named Jake Malasek. And his name is fucking Jake, and if anyone knows anything about Taylor Swift, it was All Too Well was written by Jake for Jake Gyllenhaal. If you're named Jake in this room, leave.
No.
So
I want all the J's.
the whole thing is that not only is she a marketing genius, you can't even deny the fact that her Easter eggs and all of her little hints are some of the best things to ever come out of the music industry. First of all,
Well, y'all make some of that up. Like, I've seen TikToks where it's like, okay, so at the 4:37 mark, she picks up a pin. The pin is actually symbolic of the guy she dated before this dude because he, like, y'all make a lot of that.
You want to know? Yeah, the
Yeah.
upside down kiss in the all too well 10-minute video was
I saw
Kirsten
that.
Dunst and Jake Gyllenhaal, or what was his name?
No,
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. I wasn't
But
alive
he
when that came
dated
out.
her before
But he dated
that,
her, and
so
she was the only true love that he had ever known, which is why Taylor Swift said, you know, like.
You're just a super fucking fan because, like, I don't know what you're talking about right now.
No.
I have no, like,
Do you want to pull up the 10-minute
I don't know who Jake Gyllenhaal
No.
is. I don't. These Easter eggs in her songs. She can't sing better than Whitney. That's all.
That's a fact.
There was comparing her to the greatest singer of all time.
I just think she puts out bop after bop.
It sounds like she's more like Dave Portnoy for girls that got broke up with.
No.
That's just Dave Portnoy.
All right, here's the.
I think
Here's
she's
the
taller than him.
statistics.
She's really tall.
Billy is
Hit him with a
looking
Billy.
at some sort of Google spreadsheet with, like, some things are in blue, some are in pink.
It's News Talk. This is the highest ranges. It goes Axl Rose, Mariah Carey, Prince, Steven Tyler, James Brown, Marvin Gaye. Haven't found Whitney yet.
You're doing the highest
That's
range.
the
So-
highest.
No, you're saying who can hit the highest octave. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
and
She can
low-
hit. She can hit more octaves. Is what I'm saying.
Not more than
This is
Mariah.
highest and lowest. So like the range is the.
Oh, the widest. Gotcha.
Mariah
gotcha.
has a wider range than Whitney.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
Mariah's
think
number
that
two.
is true. Actually,
is true.
No.
Type
Type in
this.
Mariah can
type
hit
in.
eight. She
type-
can hit eight
Yeah, I
octaves.
think
No, you cannot
Mariah.
hit 8 octaves.
Mariah
There isn't a human that can hit 8 octaves.
Mariah can.
What
That's
the
why
fuck?
Mariah's the GOAT.
No, you
Mariah
cannot,
is
bro.
the
Skinny
GOAT.
legend.
No, you cannot.
Whitney Houston.
Mariah's the
Whitney
GOAT.
Houston ranks right below Lorde and above Rod Stewart.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, great. Where's Taylor Swift?
Below Lana Del Rey.
I think
Lana
Cooley's
Del
right
Rey's
about
better
the
than
8
Taylor
octaves,
Swift.
by the way.
Not
that's
hitting
a
no
fact.
8 octaves, bro.
That's
I
a
think
fact.
I've heard that about Mariah Carey.
That's a fact.
Miley Cyrus is above Whitney Houston.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, Miley. Yeah. Greatest singers alive. Miley.
Eminem is above Whitney Houston.
Oh, Eminem, better singer.
Rihanna is also above Whitney Houston. Neil Young.
I think any list that has Eminem above Whitney Houston in terms of musical ability and singing voice is probably a little fucked up.
I don't know. I wonder if they're including auto-tune.
You might be right. You might be right.
Probably not, I would imagine.
Who, me?
Computer
No, you can't
assisted.
include auto-tune, my G.
Yeah. Coley,
It
Yes?
tunes your.
who's your top 5
Like, for what?
female singers?
I mean, I've got Mariah 1. I truly think she has the best voice of all time, like, far and away.
Oh, you know who? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, now I'm interested. What were you gonna say?
Well, because like a lot of people like shit on Ariana Grande, but she is fucking fire, dog. Like
She got a
her
crazy
range
voice.
is insane,
she got
dog.
a crazy voice.
Yeah.
Who was the woman on the British TV show who looked like
Susan Boyle.
Yeah, Susan Boyle.
No. Finish that.
I just
Finish
no.
that.
I knew I had to cut Coley off.
She's 2. Yeah, no, that's not true. That's
That
not
sentence
fair.
was not going to end well.
It could have. You knew who I meant. Clearly,
I knew
it was a good
exact-
sentence.
Susan Boyle is a fantastic singer.
Yeah, I mean, she had to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adele's in this top 5 somewhere. Her voice is crazy.
Free Adele.
I don't.
Was she? Why free Odell?
No, it's just like Odell Beckham.
Mm-hmm. Similar name.
Free Odell.
Yeah. What do you think about Odell's performance last night? You think he needs another team?
Did not watch.
Yeah.
Cut him.
You caught him?
Yeah,
Cut Odell
just,
Beckham?
we'll set him free again.
Set him free him again. You free him?
Yeah.
Free him out the league.
We also have, I think we have a censor button here. We have a bleep out button. So we are going to be censoring Big T because, we have the
you and
moral
you and the
responsibility
mainstream
to do that.
media.
Yep. So if Big T starts to get too out of line with his takes, feel free to hit that beep button on him. We don't want to offend anybody's ears here.
Just because you're offended doesn't mean oh, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. No, y'all have a great show.
That was perfect. He couldn't believe it.
It's a free exchange of ideas, Big T. It's a free exchange.
Big tech. I see you, Big T.
So we had you guys write down a bunch of different conspiracies and things that you wanted to hear us talk about. So we've got a big stack of cards in front of us. I feel like the only way to really do this is to pull it out of a hat. So, Big T, can we use your hat? Oh, we got a hat right
I've
here.
got bad hat here. You got to use Avery's.
Cap. That's Cap.
Does anyone know the Wi-Fi?
What are you looking up, Billy? What do you need to know? I'll tell you.
He's gotta have it in a holster. You know what I'm saying? He just gotta.
It's always better to
No.
take it out.
Stay ready, Billy.
Need the facts.
Yo, you.
If they pick your conspiracy, you're gonna get a shirt.
Yeah,
How
we've
about
got a
that?
bunch of shirts. I think we've
Yeah.
got a QR code thing on the back. You want to buy a?
The hat thing's not really the vibe because they're not moving inside of there.
Yeah. No, it's more
You
about.
might as well
the-
just shuffle it, though.
There you go. We've got Macrodosing World Tour T-shirts for sale in the back, and we will be giving you a shirt. We're also going to do a Q&A later if you want to ask a question. So be thinking about that, or if we say something that pisses you off, let us know.
Who's picking? What do
but
you do?
how about Billy pick? Billy, you pick.
All right. The Spurs shut off the AC against the Heat in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Smart.
That's actually 100% true.
Smart.
Yeah. The AC definitely went off, but did they turn it off?
I would.
Yeah, they.
Is that the one that LeBron got?
The cramps, yeah.
Either that or he shit himself like Paul Pierce, and he was just.
He's not smart enough to do
He
that.
was just laying down. Wow.
That's the.
Actually, this
That's
is.
crazy.
It's interesting that that the conversation is veered there because I'm told that Coley and Arian had a little bit of a disagreement about their top 10 NBA players of all time. And Arian put Paul Pierce. You dropped him off the list entirely?
No. I think Paul Pierce is good. He's top 40 for sure.
Top 40.
He's not top 40.
I think top 50. 40 seems a little high.
40, 50. Okay, I'm cool with that. But I'm taking Vince Carter over Paul Pierce.
Coley was vehemently upset about
Yeah.
this.
If Arian's so lucky he's a former professional athlete that could whip my ass. Otherwise, I'd beat his ass.
Yeah.
So,
It is
Don't be
so
tough.
lucky.
so for some context, we went out to get Korean barbecue last night, and it's the first time all of us were here in a while. So then after the Korean barbecue, we head back to the office, and these two stood next to each other and argued about their top 10s from about, I'd say, 11 to 3 a.m.
That's
It was not an overstatement. That was exactly what was happening. And watching it was insane.
Magical.
It was
Yeah.
like two titans going at it. Ollie and Frazier.
Make the case though that Paul Pierce is.
You're
not,
the one who brought this up. Make your case.
Yeah,
Like,
Okay,
what-
this is my case. I feel like they are both relatively around the same range, right? As far as I feel like Paul Pierce probably has a little better skill set. Offensively.
it feels important.
Okay. So when I talk about like top of all time, Vince Carter demonstrably impacted basketball more than Paul Pierce. Demonstrably, you can't even argue with that.
I'm about to, but how do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Because he played in Canada?
No, because he is the best dunker that has ever walked the planet Earth.
He's not better than Dominique.
You're fucking
He's not better than
crazy.
Michael
What?
Jordan. Michael Jordan has a line of clothing that's the most popular line of clothing
That has
in the
nothing
world,
to do-
where he's dunking. That's the logo.
Of
He's
cour-
dunking
of
the
cour-
ball.
of
He's the
course.
most famous dunker of all time.
No, I didn't say most famous. I said the best.
What's that based off of? What's your criteria for best?
Style, amount, whatever that was.
I mean, Vince Carter, the dunk where he jumped over the.
over a 7-foot human to dunk a
But he
bat.
was French. But he was.
Who
Yeah.
gives a fuck? Oh, it was alien. No, not over him, bro. Over him. Vince Carter, like the fact that you making this argument is insane to me. That he's not the best dunker of all time, though. The best. It's.
I asked you what your criteria is. Like, based on everything you just said, I'm still taking Gerald Green over him. I'm still taking Zach LaVine over him.
Gerald Green over Vince Carter as a dunker.
Just dunking? Absolutely.
We're done having this conversation.
So,
You know what? Josh Smith is still the only person in dunk contest history to truly dunk from behind the free throw.
You know what, dog? You're right.
So back to the original.
Yeah.
Back to the original question.
Yeah.
Back to the original question. We have a quote from Jason Terry on whether the AC was turned off in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Let's go,
against the
Billy.
Heat. Pop has done that so many times. I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but I'm telling you, going to San Antonio is a tough place to play. I can remember very well one time where it was cold showers. There was about 1,000 flies in the locker room. This year, there was a snake in the locker room. So they're going to pull out all the stops to get in your head. So from the sounds of it, Jason Terry thinks Pop's turned off the AC.
I feel
So,
like the
Coach
snake
Popovich.
story needs to get a whole lot more run than the AC story. It's like, yeah, there was a fucking snake in the locker room, not like an appliance malfunctioning. That no one's talked about that one in a while.
I feel like in Texas you can get away with that. They
Maybe.
just think it's expected, so they're just throwing it in
Well,
there.
they had bats in there. You remember when Manu Ginobili got in trouble because he punched that bat out of the
Yeah.
sky? That to me was one of the most athletic plays in NBA history. He just grabbed the bat, and if you are from Texas, you know, do not touch a grounded bat. Those are the bats that have rabies in them.
It wasn't grounded though. He got it.
I think you don't gotta be from Texas to know not to grab a bat.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to watch like cartoons when you're a kid, and you know to stay away from bats. But to answer the question, I do think that it was intentionally shut off. I do think that Pop would do something like that. He comes from the same, I think, mental line as Bill Belichick, and Belichick would 100%. Like, I'm surprised that he has not put a snake in the locker room yet. So I'm going to stamp this one fact. I think that's a fact.
Whose was that?
Check that real quick. Tap your mic real quick, Aaron.
Mine works. We just
Check.
Check.
All right, Arian's is out, and I think Coley's is out right now.
Here, send this one down.
The government
think
doesn't
they
want to
have
hear you. Government doesn't want to hear what we're talking about right now.
Wait, what are we doing?
This one works.
Send me Coley's.
This one doesn't. All right, let's dip in the hat again. Big T, do the honors.
Just says Titanic, which we have done.
Titanic, yeah. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Titanic 2, on the other hand, be on the lookout for that.
Gonna be on a train.
Show of hands, if they made a Titanic 2, exact same model, exact same route, exact same number of lifeboats, that's what's important. Would you go on it? Show of hands if yes. Yeah, same route, same time of year, same date.
And navigation technology.
You guys,
Also, remember global warming.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
Global
that.
warming's still there.
So this next one I pulled out, I think you'll enjoy.
you want me to read this one?
Yeah.
Dan Snyder actually runs the NFL, not Uncle Roger. That's fiction because the NFL is a profitable enterprise, and they have one team that wins the Super Bowl every year. And if Dan Snyder did it, I don't think that would even be possible. But Dan Snyder is a human piece of shit, and if Mark Davis forces him to sell the team, I will be getting a tattoo of Mark Davis's face somewhere on my body. Words cannot express how much I hate Dan Snyder. It's a glowing white-hot rage that burns deep inside me. So, no, I think Archie Manning runs the NFL, not Roger Goodell. I really do think that Roger Goodell has the best job in the world, though. He really does. He gets paid, what, $45 million, $44 million a year? What was it, when you were in the league, Aaron, what was the sentiment from the players like towards Roger Goodell?
I think it's just like anything else, man. Like any kind of cat who just, because he was so inaccessible, right? Like I remember, I think I told a story before, but like when the whole Ray Rice thing went down, like I was trying to get a hold of him because domestic violence was like near and dear to my heart, and I was trying to. There was a conversation to be had, and like I couldn't get a hold of him, and I was trying to get a hold of him, and like they was acting like he was the president, and I even called the NFLPA. I was like, "Yo, can you get me in touch with Roger? Can I get an email or something?" And then Demarcus, whatever he is.
Yeah.
He was like, "What do you need to talk to him about?" I'm like, "What the fuck does that matter? Like, give me his number, bro." And it's just like
We
it was
work
just-
at the same company.
Yeah,
I'd like to
and
talk
I'm
to
like,
him.
man, like, and I'm not really out here. It was just really weird, like how I couldn't get a hold of him. I'm sure they'll deny that shit, but
Did you ever consider like going to NFL headquarters with like I don't know some handcuffs and sitting in the lobby until and demanding to talk?
nah,
to
it
him?
wasn't that crucial, dog. I did go there 2011, and they gave me this this tour, and I met him. But I don't know. I just from the vibe I get, it's like he's like the principal, and now nobody really fucks with the principal except for like a few
Yeah.
cats. So
Did he ever leave a note in your locker like, hey, you owe me $12,000 because your socks were too high?
yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yep, socks. I probably got 3 of those, so that's 30 racks. I got one for I stiff armed the cat, and my pinky got stuck in his face mask. Like it wasn't even my fault.
So you face masked
I
him.
face masked him.
Yeah.
And that was 15.
Oh, my God.
In my rookie year, we had just beat. I scored the game-winning touchdown. This was when I was making league minimum, and so I was like still, like I didn't have no money, and so like and I just got pulled up from practice squad, right? And so I was like happy as a pig and shit. So I went to get my check, and I was like, why is it only $2,000? I didn't understand. and I got the fine, and I scored a game-winning touchdown against the Patriots. And Tom Brady was playing and everything, and like it was a big moment for my family that was in town. Didn't get really paid for that game because when I scored the game-winning touchdown, I threw it in the stands. That's a fine. I didn't know that was a fine because it causes a public disturbance. You can hand it to them, but you can't throw it.
Who was your quarterback that game?
I think it was Matt Shaw.
I love just listing Texans quarterbacks. T.J. Yates.
Yeah, I played with him.
Remember, I'm just going to ask you. I'm going to list some names, and you just tell me you remember that guy.
Yeah.
All right. So T.J. Yates, obviously. Brandon Whedon.
Yep.
Yeah. Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Brock,
he's all right though. He just be taking risks a lot.
So you remember when the Texans paid Brock Osweiler a shitload of money, and then he got there, and it was very obvious that he was not the guy for the job, and then they basically paid the Browns like $30 million to take him.
That's tough.
All right, that was our recurring segment called "Remember Brock Osweiler." Yeah, Mad Dog. Sorry about that. Sorry that you had to
That's
watch
okay.
Brock Osweiler.
Okay, free Odell though.
Free Odell.
So.
Absolutely.
Was it yours?
Yeah, whose question was that? We got you? Yeah, I've always wondered how that goes with Roger Goodell and the fines. Like, what happens if you don't pay a fine? If you're like, you know what, I think my socks were okay.
No, they dock it. It's not like you don't write a check. Like, they dock it.
Oh, they take it right out? They put a lien on your account?
They put a lien on your account, yeah.
That's fucked up.
It really is. Especially when you make a league minimum and you didn't know that rule.
Yeah.
That was tough.
All right, Arian, you want to pick the next one?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Who said the Titanic?
Oh, yeah, Titanic.
I just
yeah.
wanted to point you out.
Yeah, no, he gets a shirt, too.
It looked like you said Titanic, too. Oh, that shit look long. Let me see.
He looks like he was on the Titanic. Wow.
Damn.
Jokes.
Is there any boat left for a gentleman? Gentlemen?
The whole world is based on a Ponzi scheme by somebody named Eric.
Oh, great name. Spelled correctly with a C.
Who said that? Who's Eric?
Eric.
All right.
You're Eric. You're the one that looks like you.
He's got a way better beard.
Yes, from Facebook.
Yep, I always see you on Facebook.
It's disrespectful to his glorious beard to even say that. Is the whole world based on a Ponzi scheme?
So like, there's this big debate I seen like economists, people talking to economists have about like banks. Banks are low key a Ponzi scheme. Like, I'm not expert on banks, but it's like all your money is not in the bank, right? It's lended, and they borrow from other banks, and it's low key a Ponzi scheme. And money in general is kind of stupid, but we all agree that it's not.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean,
But
that's how it
then
gets
you
started.
should be a Bitcoin guy.
No, I should not.
If you're like, oh, money's stupid and we shouldn't have the government backing it, you should be a Bitcoin guy.
All right, so the reason why Bitcoin is not a thing to me it's a thing. Don't get me wrong. It's like a new way, right? One, there's 5,000 different cryptocurrencies. Like, it's over 5,000. So it's like, I can't pay you in Dogecoin and get it
Not
in
yet.
Bitcoin. But what I'm saying, the issue is, all right, let's say, and I always give this example. I might have said it on the pod, but like, I always give this example. Like, say I'm my rent is due, and my renter is accepting Bitcoin, right? And the day before rent is due, I got enough money. That night, Bitcoin's value drops, and the next day, I don't have enough to pay rent. It's so
volatile.
yeah that
So-
it's not a viable form of currency because we can't all agree that it's of its value. Like, we all agree what $1 is worth, like, and it's going to be worth that.
But that's constantly depreciating.
Yeah, but we still all agree. Like, you'll still accept the dollar. Like,
Yeah.
it's relatively, like, to our time, like how we move along time. Like, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's pretty much going to be the same value.
But if you just took all your money and you put it in a savings account, you are guaranteeing you're losing money every second. Especially now with Biden.
Yes and no. Relatively yes, but like not really, because we all live in the same market. So $10 to you is $10 to me, and it's going to be that way in the next year or so.
In theory, it could go down overnight. It could like deflate, rapid deflation, like you saw at the after World War II or after World War I in Germany. It's highly unlikely. It's more volatile. So a lot of
But
people.
to his point, though, it's low-key a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, wait. Billy has a take.
No, Billy wants to yell about gold again. This mic isn't even working. So.
We didn't accept
gold's value until we all agreed upon it. It was the exact same kind of concept. I mean, think about it. We all agreed this random metal is worth something in exchange, and if you brought it to different places, it was probably different amounts. But back then, we had no collection of information on it.
I don't.
So that's sort of, once we all accept that Bitcoin is going to be an asset like gold, it will start to stabilize and maintain its value.
Well, this is what I was telling you last night. We're not going to accept that because there's 5,000 different. It's not Bitcoin and that's a cryptocurrency.
But there's gold, aluminum, silver, different kinds
Those
of
have
metals.
different values.
So do the cryptos, different cryptos.
That's my point.
Exactly. It's just a virtual. It's just a virtual version. It's actually better because you don't actually have to carry it around everywhere.
Billy, no.
Every time I hear
If
Billy
you-
talk about crypto, I feel like I'm living inside Billy's brain.
Like, bro, the point is it's not volatile. We can't agree on the value of it. And you just said there's a whole bunch of them. I agree, but we don't agree on the value, which is why it's not.
Well, we do. It's the market value. Everything's always the market value.
But is it a Ponzi scheme? I don't think it's a Ponzi scheme because a Ponzi scheme is like you get paid out. You know, the definition is you give a lump sum of money and then you get paid out X amount of money per week, per month, and
That's
then
a pyramid
the
scheme.
people the people that get in at the start of it, they make their money back. But if you're the Wilpons, then you can't afford to pay Noah Syndergaard. That's my understanding of a Ponzi scheme. Let's move on. Let's do another one. Coley.
Above my pay grade. It's like Ned Flanders.
That's not how he laughs.
It sounded like it.
That sounds like.
Have you heard that before?
Have I heard the Simpsons?
No, that you sound like Ned Flanders?
I sound like.
You just took a little bit. Go ahead, man.
He sounds more like Joe Quimby than Ned Flanders, I think.
Big
It's
T
Ned Flanders.
is actually two liberal dwarves in an overcoat.
I don't know how to respond to that. That actually leaves me speechless.
Didn't deny it.
I will deny it. It's not true.
Took a
but
while, but yeah.
I do think you're more left-leaning than you like to lead on.
I don't think so,
I
brother.
think you are.
I think he's just, more than anything, he doesn't want people to call him a lib.
You can call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
I don't think that's true. I think he's just deathly afraid of being called a lib. All right. How many microphones do we have working right now? Let's see.
Check.
Okay.
Are we too close? Is that what it is?
Oh. Okay.
Let's bring it in, guys.
I'll get.
Mine's not working.
Don't be afraid to get your mouth right on it, Big T.
Check, check, check. Now is it kind of working? Oh, there we go.
Beautiful. All right. Next question. Arian, you pull this one.
Yes, sir, Eric. Did y'all know that was his name? Like everybody? Okay, all right.
It was a thing.
There's low-key a secret.
It was a thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Glad to know you, though, man.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis and Joe Buck allegedly
Banging.
Banging.
Why did the line so far from the circle? I don't know who either one of those cats is.
You don't know Joe
A
Buck?
Tatis?
You should know Joe Buck.
Okay, but I don't.
Joe Buck definitely has said your name probably like
Hundreds of times, yeah.
200 times.
That's weird. Why-
The announcer
oh,
on
yeah.
Fox.
Who is this nerd? Sorry.
And that's another drop by Arian Foster. Troy, you gonna stop passing the ball at some point
Everybody in the middle aisle, if you could just scoot this. And, I don't know who Fernando Tatis is.
Tatis.
Baseball player.
Yeah.
Pod.
Why?
say fact on this
Why
one.
are they? Why are they banging?
I have not heard this this conspiracy.
Are these like just random dudes? Like,
Fernando Tatis plays baseball. Joe Buck calls baseball and football.
Plays for the Padres.
Well, I think
I
he's
don't
talking about
watch
his dad.
baseball, so.
I think they're talking about his dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Oh.
I'm gonna say
Senior.
false until proven otherwise.
I'm gonna say fall.
on that one.
That was
Fiction
very
on
that was
that
a very
one.
Skip Bayless, Troy Aikman take.
It was. All right, next one. Fake moon landing. This is a good one.
Correct.
We need to do the show on this.
We will do an entire show on fake moon landing at some point. I'm going to call on Billy on this one because I think Billy has some fire moon landing takes.
My take is that Buzz Aldrin and all the astronauts, if it was fake, they have no idea it was. They were definitely put in some sort of capsule,
I love this.
dropped off somewhere, and they got out, And they're like, this
They
is
put them
the
in like a
fucking-
washing machine.
Yeah,
They're
Fuck it, I'm in.
100%. And they're like, this is the fucking moon. Because if you kidnap someone, they have no idea where they're going.
Bro. Astronauts are not just like random people. They're
Right,
scientists.
right.
They're the
But-
dumbest people in the world, according to Billy.
No,
I
I'm
kind
no,
of like it.
but you could take anyone who's smart and then literally gaslight them into thinking it was real because the way they defend it.
I do not think you
I'm
can do
in.
that. No.
No, seriously, because if you can, it's not that crazy to think.
Yeah, it is actually, dog.
No, 'cause I'm saying if it is fake, they do not know it's fake because I believe those guys. They
No.
definitely believe.
I
it
agree
was-
with what that part of what
That's
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying. I'm saying like if
You
it
being like
was
they could
fake.
just lie to him because they're-
Arian.
You took the conspiracy theory and like went way.
Arian, it's like what
They
you said.
didn't know it was.
It's like what you said yesterday when you're like, you're so far right that it comes back around. That's so insane that it actually might be true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
No.
like if it's fake, those guys definitely thought they
Yeah,
went to
Buzz
the moon.
Aldrin's not beating people up because he knows
Yeah.
it's fake. I
Yeah.
agree with you there.
He kicks
That's what I'm
ass.
saying. But you
Okay,
know,
so how do you trick a team of like the brightest folks in the? How do you trick a whole?
it's a
team?
hypothetical. If it is fake,
Okay,
then they don't know it's fake.
I thought experiment.
I like that Billy went
I got you.
straight past fake moon landing and was like, no, fuck that. It's a fake moon. Billy is the wokest person on this platform
Too
right now.
woke, man. You need to go to sleep.
I like it though. I don't think that it was fake, but I do think that I think it actually happened, but I do think that the United States government had plans in place on how to fake it in case we couldn't actually pull it off. So we were fucking around with the moon a lot back in the day. We had a plan. This is true. There's a United States government operation that we had set up that was in order to show our dominant force to the Soviets at the time, because it was in the Cold War. We had a plan that the generals floated up the chain of command all the way to the president, I think. And it was, what if we just set off a nuke on the moon? What if we just blew up the moon? I bet that would really make the Soviets afraid of us. Like, nothing was off the table as far as the moon was concerned for the United States. So I think we definitely, if we started to fall behind in the space race, we were going to cheat.
Shoot the moon.
Yeah, no, we
Despicable me's. Yeah.
Just take it. I think if it looked like they were about to get to the moon in the next like year, 2 years, we would have just done the fake moon landing thing and been like, sorry, we got there first.
Oh man.
Stanley Kubrick's really tied to this one because of 2001: Space Odyssey. Just like if there was one person who could cinematically pull it off, they think he did it. So that's like, I don't actually think that we faked the moon landing, but hypothetically, if we did, and he was in charge, like, he did a pretty good job in 2001: Space Odyssey.
I almost feel like that makes it more seem like it's real because that footage kind of stinks.
But there's also the stuff about the flag waving in zero gravity, which people debate, but turns out on Mythbusters, actually, this was an old episode, they debunked it.
Wasn't the new Mythbusters?
There's not a new one, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, it was really old. So they put, I remember watching it when I was like in middle school, and they put a rod in the flag, so like if you had a flag on the moon, it would just droop because there's no wind, no nothing. So it was actually propped up, and that's why it like waved. But yeah, there's a bunch of facts on it.
I think it's wild to even put a flag on the moon. Like nobody thinks
It's ours now.
Well, that's what we do.
It's like stupid. Like,
It's ours. It belongs to
It's an
this
American
country.
movie.
We own the moon.
Well, that's what they do. And there's like a whiskey war between Norway and Canada, where there's one island between Greenland and Canada, and they do war games on it, and all they do is plant flags and leave like Canadian whiskey or like Norwegian vodka every time they change the flag.
I have no idea if this is true or not.
It's
but I'm
100% true.
enthralled.
It's actually really cool.
I want to get involved in this.
Source, trust me, bro.
I'm pulling it up.
All right, we got a study coming in. Big T, your thoughts on the moon landing?
It was probably real. Who knows? It was the 60s. We were doing all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah.
It probably happened.
Okay.
Yeah, the U.S. It probably happened.
Wait, is that maybe like if you could go back in time, was that the one you definitely skip? The 60s? I feel like you would hate it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why would I hate the 60s?
That's when Tennessee football was good.
We were good in the 90s also. I lived through 2 years of really awesome UT football. Yeah, I don't know. If I could go back into it, that wouldn't be my first choice.
What would?
The Revolutionary War, probably. I love the Revolutionary War. It's awesome history.
I would have guessed Prohibition.
Listen,
They didn't have orgies.
the apples are red tonight.
They did not have orgies then. Somebody pointed out we're actually on Orchard Street tonight.
Yeah,
Love that for Big T.
very fitting.
Absolutely love it. Let's get Big T and Orchard sponsorship.
Please.
That's
They
what-
tweeted me during the World Series. If the Braves had won in Game 5, I feel like we'd be further along than if they won in Game 6, because Game 5, they were all about it that night.
Yeah, and you were there.
I know, it's bullshit. We'll figure it out.
Will you get an Angry Orchard tattoo if they sponsor you?
If the money's right.
Okay.
Do you have a tattoo?
No.
No, he doesn't. That's what
I always said if
he
one of,
had one, where we couldn't see.
I always said, like, if the Braves or UT ever won a title, I'd get one, and figuring it never happened, and then it happened, and I'm like, maybe not.
He doesn't have a tattoo. He's got the horseshoe brain. He's got the Omega on his arm.
Oh, you a cute
Yeah,
dog?
No.
All right, Arian.
All right. That'd be funny. as
Big
shit.
T and a black fry would be
That's
very
that's
funny.
gonna be fire as hell, dog. This one's folded. I respect it.
Yeah, good job.
Epstein.
So we've been holding off on this one because Maxwell's currently, I think she went on trial today. So we just wanted to get all the facts before we delved into it.
Classic Billy waiting for all the facts to come out.
Yeah.
No, because it's going to be a huge episode, and I just want to see what happens here because it's going to be pretty pertinent to see what happens when this trial ends.
I don't think he killed himself just off the small reading I've done on it. But I don't know. I'm not gonna make a definitive statement. But just baseline, that's sketchy as hell.
I think he was absolutely a CIA agent, or at least an asset of the CIA. Excuse me, not an agent. He was never deputized. He didn't have a badge that he carried around or anything like that. But he was, without a doubt, working with the CIA on something.
So
and we don't know what
Did
it
you
was.
know, PFT, he was a big comedy fan? Epstein?
He liked to laugh.
What a
He could have
weirdo.
been like a big, pardon my take guy, if under different circumstances.
Award-winning listener, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, AWL.
Damn, we'll never get that download.
No,
back
so
from him.
there was a quote from so Bill Barr actually was quoted saying that Jeffrey Epstein was in intelligence, and that's why they didn't try him in that first trial in Florida back in 2004 or whatever it was. Yeah. So there is like a basis for that claim.
Yes, so he was without a doubt working with people, maybe doing like a honeypot operation where people would come visit him. Then he'd get dirt on some of the most powerful people in the world, like British royalty, things of that nature, and then he could make them do whatever they want, or he would funnel the tapes that he made of them to the CIA, and then the CIA could make them do whatever they wanted.
But then why would he have ended up in jail?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Craziest thing, his
all the facts.
Well, but if he was working with the CIA, though,
something crazy about his townhouse.
I feel like that would have been a prerequisite.
Well, because there were a lot of girls that went to his house and filed police reports, and it became too much that they could ignore it.
Okay.
And then the attorney general decided, you know what, we're not going to be pressing the charges. Or excuse me, the district attorney said, you know what, we're going to let him off with a slap on the wrist. Then it became a big news story, and then there was enough media cry about it that the media did a good job on that one. How about that, Big T?
That's rare.
Mainstream media may have done their job on that one.
What's your go-to media source?
So I actually watch CNN because you have to know what the fake news is saying
You just
so
like
that you
being
can
mad.
refute it.
You get high
You
on
have
it.
to
You're
be
just like,
you have to be informed of what the other side's dealing with, know what they're talking about, so that you know how to refute
So when
it.
you hear it, you just go, "Oh, the opposite's true." That's how you watch.
No, you just gotta stay abreast of what's going on. They're really tricky these days.
No,
That sounds like some Sun Tzu shit.
so
No, that guy sucks.
that's Zach De La Roca. Know your enemy.
Interesting thing about Epstein's townhouse in Upper East Side, it was built like a hotel. It had rooms like a hotel. There's like 44 rooms, all bedrooms. And he had a surveillance room where he had all of those rooms. They had cameras and like a whole security system. So he could technically record what happened in any of these rooms. That was actually in, I think, a New Yorker article. So
Right. So he probably had significant amount of dirt on Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, a lot of very powerful people. And so he gets arrested, ends up in jail, and as Billy dug up on yesterday's show, his cellmate was allegedly I think you said jacked as hell. He was like real swole. His cellmate was.
I mean,
Steroided down.
does this look like a hitman?
Yeah, he looks like Vin Diesel.
I gotta get this blown up.
Yeah, so
Didn't Bill Gates' wife say something
yeah,
about this shit too?
yeah.
That's
during
when
the
she started the
divorce.
divorce proceedings. When his relation to Bill Gates came out, that's when she started the divorce proceedings.
So I think yes, I think Jeffrey Epstein was the. We have only begun to scratch the surface on that
Yeah,
guy.
that's interesting. I think you're right. Wait on that episode to get more of the facts.
We get the Epstein question T-shirt.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we got him a shirt.
Okay. She's like, there's an Epstein shirt.
One.
We got Epstein merch in the back for anybody that wants it.
If we're making an Epstein shirt, can we just last minute add a big circle with a line through it over Epstein to make it abundantly clear it's not supporting him?
Black Friday.
I have no idea what this says.
That says
Dario Sorrente Santo.
no, it's Santa.
I think that's Santa, yeah.
Oh.
Santa. It's the word Santa.
And then it
like
says
Santa
ho, ho,
Claus.
ho.
Ho, ho,
And then,
okay,
and then you
okay,
turn
okay.
it over.
But low-key, the Russian involvement in the AIDS epidemic. Oh. Oh, that's a twist.
I'm unaware of that one.
I'm unaware of that one also, but I will say that Santa, Billy, cover your ears. Santa is legitimately a conspiracy theory. He just is. Like we all just lie to our kids about
It's the
it
most proven.
every day. Legitimately. Russian connection to AIDS. I don't know.
I've never heard anything. Other than saying they made it?
I've heard Russian connection to Lyme's disease during the Cold War.
Lyme. Yeah.
Lyme disease.
Yeah.
I said Lyme disease.
Limes.
Lyme's disease.
Li-
I don't even know if it's
whatever.
correct, but it's funny.
Okay, but like, so basically, Russians knew there was a ton of deer in the continental United States, and we're like, let's give them their ticks, limes, and then it would affect the population. That's something I've heard.
You know
not
the ticks
AIDS.
don't actually like feed on limes and then bite you,
I
right? Okay. But they gave the ticks, they infected the ticks.
And then they knew it would spread because we have no like large predators on the eastern seaboard to control the deer population.
So because we were poor hunters, they knew that would spread out, and then it
Y'all
would
made
just,
all the wolves dogs, that's why.
that's true, because we defanged all of our wolves, we cucked all of our wolves and turned them into betas. No, I haven't heard anything about that at all, but I would feel like they probably had a lot of cases of AIDS over there, like HIV, but you never heard about like a Russian outbreak of AIDS or HIV. They probably just did like what they did to everybody else that was sick over there.
I never heard that one.
Got rid of them.
News to me. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, so I got, will athletes get better over time or just technology? And technology is spelled wrong.
Will athletes get better?
Yes, of course. Evolution.
Yeah, that feels like 2 for 2. I feel like they both get better.
It's never not been the case that we've been more physically dominant as time goes on.
Yeah, Billy, what do you think about that? Is there going to be a generation where the kids are going to be worse athletes than their parents were?
I don't think you guys understand how evolution works. Even yesterday.
Let's
we were
ride,
talking about
brother.
it. No,
Hit it.
think about it. You need pressures that are going to prevent non-athletic people from reproducing in order for everyone to become more athletic.
You're discounting the environmental factor of evolution.
Right.
That should not be the case.
right.
No. So basically, if
It's not
all
just
the-
genetics. Like it's genetics plus. There's literally an equation to this. I don't know what it is, but it's literally genetics plus environment, and that's how you get. That's what evolution is.
So the environment is just stuff that kills people with bad genetics.
No, it's like say it's for example, a giraffe, right? Giraffes didn't always have long necks. There was the shit that they used to eat was really high up, and so over time they had their necks had to grow longer.
How do you think that happened?
Because the giraffes.
Because their environment, because of their environment, genetically they had to alter how their body.
No. The short-necked giraffes died, and then the longer ones survived, and that's why their necks got longer. You guys don't understand how evolution works.
No,
That's actually they don't just get longer.
No, of course not, my nigga. Nobody said that.
No, you guys think the
No, what I'm saying is you're discounting the.
Yeah.
You're discounting the fact that the environment plays a role in it. I'm not
Right,
saying they
right.
grew necks overnight.
right, but the way it works is the ones that can't reach the leaves die.
And the ones
Agreed.
that can reach the leaves reproduce at a higher rate than the ones.
Agreed.
Right, so then that just happens over time.
Then when they have sex, their giraffes babies will be more likely to be
Right.
born
So what's
without longer
killing
neck.
everyone who's not athletic now in the world to cause us to get better athletically?
It's not. No, this is what I'm saying. It's not just it kills people, right? Because just like we were talking about yesterday, right? There are residual evolutionary traits that we have that are that don't necessarily make any sense. For example, it's in the same animal, the giraffe, right? The larynx, I forget what it's called, but it's a nerve that goes all the way around the heart, and it shouldn't, right? It's just there because it's left over. It's not necessarily just survivability. It's environment plus genetics. And so there's a lot of stuff that animals and the entire animal kingdom have that it doesn't really make any sense why they have it, other than it was because of their environment.
The reason why they have it is because it didn't cause them to die for some reason.
It's not just that, though, Billy. It's not just that. Yes, you're right in the fact that we evolve so that we don't die, but it's not only the reason why we evolve. It's not just that.
Kind of is.
Okay.
And reproduce.
Okay.
There's two things that cause it. Death before reproductive age. That's what's the biggest factor in evolution.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right.
Well, also you can look at the last 50 years of athletics, like in a microcosm here in the United States at least. It's not just that the best athletes are having kids and their children then go on to be great athletes. That does happen sometimes, but also in the short term, like the stuff that you use to train to become better in the techniques, would that not be also considered the environment?
But that is not passed down. So basically, if I did a ton of steroids and then
Hypothetically, if Billy used steroids, yes.
Hypothetically, and I had children, my children wouldn't be jacked.
No,
And
correct.
they wouldn't have any.
Correct.
So but that's evolution.
No,
If you're saying are athletes getting way better? Yes, but not because of evolution. That's a fair.
But it also is another form of
How can you
the species.
everything you just did and then say no?
Because evolution is generation to generational change. You what you do within your lifetime, if it doesn't get passed down to your children, it's like, for example, nose jobs. Like, are people evolving to be prettier, or are they you're not going to pass down your
just stick with athletics because you
right? But but evolution is the idea of traits getting differentiation in generations because of environmental factors.
Yes.
So they have to be passed on in order.
Yes, but they're not all passed down. Like, it's not like, LeBron's kids aren't all athletic. There's like a couple of them that are. So it's like it doesn't all get that because evolution doesn't work. It's like as soon as you're born, it gets passed down.
Right.
Sometimes it even skips generations before it shows up in the gene pool.
Right.
But what I'm saying, Billy, is I think Billy's right for the most part, but I also do think that you can't discount back in the 40s, nobody squatted. We didn't do complex lifts, right? And so then the next generation of athletes, they had better technology, so they were able to use that technology to become better athletes. And the next generation after that built on that, and they were able to become better. So athletes do get better generation to generation without the benefit. Like if you just throw out.
But is that because of natural selection? That's what I'm saying.
Not always.
Exactly.
Because of the environment. It's a big part.
I don't think that we're getting better athletically because of natural selection. That's what I'm claiming.
Aaron, do you have any kids that are going to play in the NFL?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Would you let them play football?
If they really wanted to, like my youngest son, he's obsessed with it. Like he'll randomly send me pictures of me playing football. It's fucking hilarious. But I don't want him to. There's just no reason to. Go do something else that doesn't hurt your body.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan's kids suck at basketball.
That's what I'm saying. His grandkids might be fired though.
Let's draw another one from the hat. And
Is it
then,
me
do you
or
guys
you?
want to hear Big T sing in a little bit? Would that be something that would interest?
That's TBD. We will whistle also.
Angela. Well, how you doing, Angela? Is this saying your name? That the government creates traumatic events every few years to control the people. Arrow. Project MK Ultra proved you can control minds through trauma. Unabomber was a participant. That's a hot take. That's like 4 or 5 hot takes. The government creates traumatic events every few years to control the people. I wouldn't go out on a limb because when a lot of the time the government is used as a boogeyman, and so when you say the government, there's thousands of offices of the government, right? So it's when you say the government, I think it's a lot of times it's like a boogeyman for the they, like they.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say that the government is like creating events to control people, but I do think that the government has ulterior motives here and there, and they experiment on subjects sometimes. But I don't think it's like a wide, like, let's move the cattle in this direction. I don't know.
I think that working for the government and any intelligence agency is not that much different from anybody else's job, where you have to come up with a certain amount of projects per year to feel like you're accomplishing something and to make your boss happy with your job performance. So they like just rush into their boss's office one day and they're like, hey, just put together this great PowerPoint. We should dose people with LSD and then watch how much we can get out of them when we get prostitutes to have sex with them behind a two-way mirror. It'll be great. Trust me. I've thought this all through. Here are the reasons why I think it's a great idea and it'll work. And then it ends up just fucking everything up and going really, really poorly because they didn't actually think it through as much as they did. But because they have all the power and the funding behind them, they're able to carry out their dumbest ideas and have it blow up in their faces on a honestly, like, pretty impressive basis. The government is able to fuck up because they have your money and my money, right? Right, Big T?
Yep, they take it right from you.
Right from you.
They don't even ask.
So I don't think that there's one guy in the government that's like, you know what, we've had kind of a dry spell without any trauma.
Is taxation theft?
Absolutely. You just stole. That was a question for a segment later. Damn it, Arian.
There are programs now, for example, where you have government agents trying to radicalize some Muslims in certain mosques. And seriously, you'll have the imams call up the government and be like, yo, there's this guy who's like trying to like instigate our younger members. And then
Just like that, too.
And then it turns out there's like an FBI agent who's like was sent to like investigate to ensure there's no like jihadism, but he's actually the one trying to like egg it out of them. Yeah. So there are those types of programs, but
that does happen a lot. Billy's right on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Pretty fucked up.
The mom calls up the CIA and they're like, "Assalamu alaikum. There's this dude, pretty shady. He's acting all weird and stuff. He's not one of our." No, that actually does happen. It happens pretty frequently, I think. And it's not just religions. It's like across the board. Any sort of movement that happens, there's always an infiltrator that's trying to stir things up a little bit. They do that all the time. Yeah. Coley, you got anything on this?
When you just started saying all that, I just remembered, like, remember those vans last year that were just snatching people up? Did anyone ever look into that?
We stopped talking about the vans, yeah.
The vans were just snatching people all over the place.
I didn't hear about this.
At the protest.
At the protest,
unmarked
vans would just pull up, snatch someone, drive off.
That's facts, though.
I think we.
No one followed up until me just now.
Give me my credit, dog.
I think they're just going to get detained and processed. I think
It's been like a while.
I think people came
I think
back.
they're processed.
Yeah, I don't think anyone went missing in those vans.
I haven't heard any reports of like, yeah, they took me to McDonald's and then drove me home. Like, I haven't heard any reports of what happened to these people, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Big T, you got anything on this? We'll move on.
I don't think so, no.
You draw a card.
This is from Eddie. Will there ever be a sequel to Goodell versus Obama, the battle for the future of the NFL? That's actually very, very present.
Good question, Eddie. Thank you very much for that. So Goodell versus Obama, the battle for the NFL. It's a book I wrote back in 2014, I believe, and I did write a sequel to it. It was about Aaron Hernandez, and I was going to release it, and then on the day before he was going to have the book put out about him, he decided to Epstein himself. So I don't think that one's coming out. I think that one is just for kind of me to look back through every now and then and read and be like, wow, I was really fucking dumb when I wrote it. But there will be something coming out, something very special we've been working on about Goodell versus Obama, the battle for the NFL.
Can you give me the SparkNotes version?
Yeah, SparkNotes version of the book is Jerry Jones has a plastic surgery accident on his dick. His dick explodes. He dies. The Dallas Cowboys don't have a male heir. Obama takes over the Dallas Cowboys.
Naturally.
Tries to turn them into a soccer. Well, he takes over the Dallas Cowboys because he has the highest amount of confirmed kills in America at the time. He turns them into a soccer team and threatens to move them to Kenya. And then Roger Goodell has to fight him for the future of the NFL and for the Dallas Cowboys.
Fire comic book, dog.
So, yeah, it's a book that I wrote, and we're actually, I'll tell you right now, we're putting out an audio version of the book featuring people at Barstool doing the voices for everybody involved in that. And we're going to put out a hardcover version, I think, for Black Friday. So we will be doing a limited edition re-release of that.
Our head of
So-
audio's got the thumbs up right there.
Yeah. Yeah, Hank's been working overtime on it. I'll just say this. There's a small role of Joe Biden in the book. It's being played by Brandon Walker, and it's amazing. He recorded all his lines last week. It sounds fucking hilarious. So, but maybe no sequel to that. Kind of ended in a way where I don't know if I can write a sequel to it.
Angela. We are all microorganisms living in a bigger existence. Think Whoville from Grinch living on top of a snowflake. Is the Milky Way just one tip of a snowflake, or are we all just cells thinking we have a purpose?
What did you smoke before?
That's
you got
fire, though. That's fire, though. I'm
Yeah.
fucking with that, though. Yeah.
Do you want to join the show? These are great.
No, that's a fire take, actually. Let me just run it back. We are all microorganisms living in a bigger existence. Think Whoville from the Grinch living on top of a snowflake. Is the Milky Way just a tip of a snowflake? Or are we just cells thinking we have a purpose? So one of the most beautiful quotes I've ever heard was that we're just the universe experiencing itself, and that shit is just powerful to me. Just like to get like hella existential. It's kind of why like I used to like argue a lot. I mean, I still argue like on the show and shit. But like in my personal life, I used to argue with people about religion and politics and yada yada. But I've kind of stopped that because it's like
You haven't, but
I said on the show. Of course, I'm arguing on the show. But I don't take a lot of pleasure in it anymore because I really just think like we're all, and this is hella corny, but like we're all just literally just a part of this thing, and it's just like an experiment. And like one day, I'm actually working on a book, and like. And one of the chapters is nobody knows what they're doing. Like you just wake up one day and you're conscious, right? It's fucking crazy. And then all of a sudden you just kind of do what everybody else does, and you enjoy things, you don't enjoy things, and it's just wild to think that nobody really has a plan. Like y'all bought tickets, you was like, yeah, I would like to do it, but like there's nothing you should or shouldn't do, and you just the experience of living is just like I'm fascinated with. And so this kind of shit is what keeps me up at night. So good question, man. I don't even know if I answered it, but
You come to that consciousness when you're like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Like you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
And you just wake up one day like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, and it's just a wild life is weird as hell. And it doesn't happen much, but only on planes. When I get on planes and I'm kind of like dozing off, I just really get the thought like, yo, I'm finna die one day. And it just really. It blows my mind to think one day I'm not going to exist. And so I err toward diplomacy and peace nowadays more so.
Something that I think about is like, if you think about like a nucleus, protons, and then electrons rotating around it, like that sort of structure, it looks a lot like a solar system.
Yeah.
And you see all these different like shapes and like, patterns that just reoccur throughout everything. And then it's like, are we just, on an electric, are we just an electron rotating around
We're an
the sun?
atom. We're an atom
Yeah.
inside of a much larger.
Like, are we
universe.
just on an atom somewhere?
Really, all you have to do is watch the very end of Men in Black when they put the marble back on,
Yeah.
on Orion's belt, and when you see that, you're like, "That's what it is." Okay, mystery solved. Next one. I don't know about you guys, but when I wake up in the morning, I don't like when I gain consciousness. I don't plan on what I'm going to be doing that day. I just think like I hope something crazy happens today. I kind of just root for stuff that happens that I'm entertained by, like stuff that happens that I can talk about, and stuff that happens that like entertains me and engages me. I don't like wake up with a plan like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Every day I wake up, I'm like, hope this is a cool day, and then when I close my eyes, I'm like, no. And then NFL Sunday comes around, I'm like, this is the day that it happens, for sure.
I saw something where it said there is no like right or wrong decisions. There's just decisions, and like whether or not you make them, like your life is gonna go on that path. Like not fate, but like if you kill a man, yeah, there's no punishment or like positive reinforcement in life. It's just like left or right, and then it'll readjust accordingly.
It might be a hot take, but I think some decisions are bad.
Right? No. Right. Like killing man, but like,
No, I mean to your point. Like if you take, because that's like an ego thing, right? It's like it's our perception of it. Obviously, we have moral standards in our society that we agree about what is good and what is not good. But throughout the course of history, we haven't all agreed on that, right? But if you take the ego out of it, that's when I really started getting a lot of peace in my life. It was like when you take the ego out of other people's decisions, and it's like they're not doing it to affect me. They're just doing it to acquiesce to whatever they feel. And so
Right.
like if you look at it like there's no right or wrong, things just are.
yeah.
It's a very Zen like Buddhist way of thinking, but it's
Peaceful.
Yeah, it's very peaceful. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to something else real quick. We can get back to the hack game if we need to later, but we wanted Big T to have a little segment here for himself, and it's the lip detector test.
So here's the deal. I didn't realize how intimate this setting was going to be. We're still going to do this. So if I have any volunteers, I just want to call on people. You'll get one question, and your answer to that one question will determine whether or not you are a lib.
So Big T's going to ask you something, to be clear. You don't have to have a question.
Right. Yeah, you just answer. So are there any volunteers? Okay, Orange. All right, I appreciate that. Question number 1.
What's your name? Mason.
Mason, do you like making your own decisions? Yeah. You're not a lib. Congratulations. See, it's that simple. It's that simple, y'all. In the back. What's your name? Jake. What are your thoughts? Oh, shit. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Jake. What are your thoughts on trail mix? Oh, 0 for 2. No lips so far.
You don't like trail mix?
Here's the thing. Trail mix, it's
what it
just
represents.
a very libby, like if you're like, oh, let's bring some trail mix. Like, nobody.
Tell me, are you saying
100.
Yeah.
So you saying like
I disagreed with you until you said it. Now
Did you-
I'm kind of on your side.
did you just
Yeah. Like if you're like, hey, we're going to a movie or something, let's bring some trail mix.
No
Like
one's ever brought trail mix.
Tell
to a
me,
movie.
oh no, yes they have.
bro? Did you just politicize healthy snacks?
Yeah, but like, yeah. If you're like, hey, we're going to Central Park, like bring some trail mix, like you voted for Hillary.
So like if you don't want clogged arteries, chances are you're
No.
liberal.
There are plenty of things out there you can enjoy that aren't like.
Give me a healthy snack that's not a liberal healthy snack.
An apple. If you're like an
apple?
yeah.
That's pretty liberal.
How do you figure?
Johnny
Eve
Appleseed
was the one that got the first one, and she was like,
Anyway. All right. Any more volunteers? San Francisco Giants. What's your name? Quentin. Who's your favorite SNL cast member?
Bill Hader.
Believe it or not, any answer to that question would have made you. I'm sorry. Right here. What's your favorite grocery store?
Public.
Wow, you're not a lib. Where are you from?
Florida.
Okay, fuck yeah. Any grocery store in New York was going to be lib, and I actually told somebody, I was like, the correct answer is Publix, but nobody's even going to know what that is. Hell yes. What's your favorite pub sub?
The chicken tender.
Oh my God.
Good choice.
You and I, we'll hang out.
It's the
at
only
that
one
shit.
I've ever heard anyone order. No one's gotten any other sub from there but that one.
Why?
Everyone, that's the only one I've ever heard of from.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Ever.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's the best one by a substantial margin.
Never even been
Anybody
to
else?
Yeah, back there.
Green. What's your name? Ben. Arian kind of ruined this question earlier, but is taxation theft? No. You're a lib.
Fuck with you, dog.
All right, I have one more. Right here. What's your name? Brogan.
that's an awesome name.
So that actually was the question I have is what's your name, and you're definitely a lib. So that was the lib detector test.
Thank you, Big T. That was great.
No problem.
Thanks, Big T. It's a pleasure to have you around.
I appreciate it.
I got your back all day.
Thank you.
All right, so we do have a couple musical arrangements we wanted to do. Arian claims that he can play guitar, so I brought my guitar.
Can anybody sing? Do you know Blackbird?
I'm sorry.
Do you know Blackbird? By the Beatles?
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
Let's get it.
Okay, you're doing way better.
Let's do the first two verses though. Everybody wants to hear. Listen to the whole song.
No, I don't think so. Billy, you can do the bird sound effects of the song.
Yes.
Thank you, Big T.
You're welcome. What's your name?
Bridget.
Yeah, Bridget.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so I advocated for a mad dog on the Macrodosing podcast, and kind of got a shout out, so it was cool. Anyway,
Thank you.
We love you.
I'm also a Buffalo Bills fan. Let's go Bills.
All right, Bills.
Hey.
Do you know when to come in?
Yep.
Okay. Hold on. Oh no, I gotta run a red back, right?
Yeah. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly.
Thank you, Bridget.
You are so very welcome.
All right.
Bridget?
Yes.
Wanted to let Big T show off his whistling skills.
I did all right. For sure, man. For sure. Hey, here's a shirt. Here's a shirt for the fights, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did we just pick someone out of the crowd to sing? Just a random person?
Did you just wake up?
Wish that I was on old Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, half bear, the other half cat. Wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop, I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Now we'll whistle the next one. Listen. We've had a lot of good wins this year. We don't need to talk about last week. We're gonna finish 7-5. We'll be just fine. Toughest schedule in the country. Okay, not today. Straight the schedule numbers.
It's actually the start of the Tennessee Minute. We want to jump into that for just
I will-
a second because go ahead.
I do want to say one thing. So Arian, Tennessee alumnus, played football at Tennessee. Hasn't watched the game all year. PFT texts him when we go up 7-0, says, Arian, are you watching the game? And he goes, no, let me turn it on. And at that point, we were up 10-7, and Arian watched for a little bit. He goes, wow, I'm impressed. After that point, we were outscored 37-7.
I didn't watch the whole game, but yeah.
Yeah. So after you said you were impressed is when we got our shit kicked in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That makes sense.
We played great for a quarter, though.
Yeah, but there's 4 of them in that sport.
I know. It's a real shame. But nobody's beating Georgia. Like, literally nobody's beating that team.
Best defense right now. Best defense.
Best defense I've ever seen.
Oh, so little spoiler, we had Frank Gore come into the office today on Part of My Take. Got to talk to him for a little bit. And I mentioned that you played for Adam Gase down in Miami and how you also be like, Adam would just talk about Jay Cutler out of nowhere. And Frank Gore, he did not confirm that Adam Gase still just randomly brings up Jay Cutler and discusses him, but he did say that Adam Gase was one of his favorite coaches of all time, even though he gets all this shit right now. What happened with that? What's the difference between Adam Gase now? Like when he was coaching, was he like a player's guy? He would be like, take into account what you want to do in the game plan, or
I think what happens like with coaching is like, when they start taking a lot of L's, they start getting a lot of like public pressure. And then I don't think a lot of human beings in general know how to take public pressure, so they start kind of acting funny too. And then they take it out on probably their wives and then everybody else around them, right? So it just starts getting like a weird thing. But like one-on-one, he understands the game. I think he calls it well. But he's just a good dude. Like he cares. Like I used to hate coaches that were real authoritarian. Right? He wanted you to be involved. Like he didn't care about it. He just wanted to win. He wanted you to be involved. So like. For Frank Gore to say that means a lot. He probably had more coaches than I had, but just from what I saw, he was a good dude, man. I don't know.
Yeah, free Gase, bring Gase back, right, Billy?
Yeah.
No.
Actually, maybe at this point.
Yeah. I think we want to do some Q&A, right? How's that sound? A little Q&A, get the people talking a little bit. Do a little Q&A, and then afterwards, I think we're gonna be hanging around down here for a little bit. Come say hi. I'm gonna take my sunglasses off. Be cool.
All right, who's got a
Maybe
question?
too dark in here. I can't walk around.
Maybe not.
Who's got a question?
That sounds
You got a question?
a little predatory, actually.
What is?
How long does it take you and Big Cat to get the full Raiders, that voice going? Do you have to prepare for that?
Not at all. In fact, I think maybe we should be doing more preparing for it.
If you don't have to prepare, can we get one? Like a Raiders?
I can try. Big Cat is more judicial when he chooses to do that. When I ever see the word Raiders, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going for it. It's no, I'm not even going to finish because I want you to be able to talk for the rest of the show. Yeah, you got to get real down.
So it does take a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a little bit. Yeah. Shout out Chris Berman, the GOAT. Did he have a nickname for you?
I don't think so, man.
Arian's Nation Foster. No?
I would hope not.
He didn't say that one?
I would hope not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arian Foster the people better run faster than the bullet.
That'd have been equally shit.
I just Googled Chris Berman, Arian Foster, and it appears at one point he said Arian Foster, Houstonian for tough.
Equally shit. Yeah.
Houstonian for tough.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Any more questions? Who we got?
So you guys talked about coming into consciousness, how that's just a random thing. If not all of you, maybe just one or two of you, what was your first memory that you remember?
So, I'll take it because it was weird as shit. My first memory as a human being, and my mother does not, I said this on my podcast. I used to have a podcast that was just me interviewing people, and my mom to this day doesn't believe me. My first memory as a human being is watching a C-section. And hear me out. I used to get babysit by this lady named Miss D. And we are from the ghetto, so there was not a lot of responsibility in the area that I grew up in. And this lady just let us go through the house. Me and this little girl, we just did whatever we want. She always slept on the couch. So my first memory was, I remember it vividly, dog. Her stomach was cut open. I don't know why they allowed us in the house, but I went home that day and my mom walked across the street and I told her what happened. She was like, no, there's no way that happened. But this is my first memory. This is like all I remember as a human. That's my first human memory.
Wait, Miss D was getting cut open?
In the house?
Yeah, bro. Nobody believes me, but I'm like, how the fuck?
Who was doing it?
There was an ambulance there.
Oh, okay.
There's people, not her. Like, you shouldn't cut herself.
You made it definitely.
I got
seem like
It sounded like
a
someone's
neighbor
getting-
came by.
No. There was an ambulance there, but I don't understand why they didn't like have us not in the room. But that was my first memory, dog.
And was it confirmed that like Miss D did have a C-section? So
Yes, no, she said, okay, I remember her being pregnant, and then there wasn't a baby. So I'm like, bruh, it was my first memory as a human. Like,
If you remember her being pregnant, how was it your first memory?
what do you mean?
You just said you remembered her being pregnant.
No. That was my first memory. My mom said I remember her being pregnant. Yeah, that was my first memory. And then afterwards, we still went there, and that's when I realized that she wasn't a very good babysitter. Like, she was always sleeping on the couch. So I don't know where her baby went, but
that's a hell of a first memory.
It's
That's
wild,
one where
yeah.
you probably wouldn't be able to forget that if you didn't see it.
exactly right. It's the first one.
I remember my grandfather eating pie. It's basically like the same type of thing.
You guys live the same life. Pretty much.
Yeah. It was his birthday. He had a big pie. He ate all by himself. People talked about it for years. Kind of big surprise you guys don't know about it.
In that same vein, when do you think you die?
Whoa. Chill out.
Wait,
When
what?
when you physically pass away, or when your name stops being mentioned?
Good question. You don't die.
Did you watch
until-
Coco recently? Yeah.
I believe in that. You die when the last person that's currently living forgets about you.
Yeah.
Or there's nobody alive.
Nah, dog.
So remembers you.
Nah. You die when you die.
That's small-minded of you, Arian, because
Yeah, I mean, not
isn't
really.
life bigger than just what happens in this vessel?
The memory of you doesn't die, but you're dead.
I think memories count.
They don't, though.
Agree to disagree?
Have you ever had dinner with a memory?
No, but I mean, I'm always like, if I could have dinner with somebody dead or alive, I remember some dead people.
But you couldn't have dinner with them because they're dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's what you are on Earth isn't just what's in here. It's what's out there. What you put out there.
Like, metaphorically, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, but it's just not. You're dead.
Yeah, I mean, Arian's probably right, and I'm probably just trying to soften the harsh blow of death by wishing that life goes on a little bit longer. But
Yeah. That'd be fire if it did, but
it would be, yeah. Anyone else? Billy, when do you die?
I know my first memory. I don't know when I died.
What's that?
I ate a bunch of balloons. Like unblown up balloons. And everyone was yelling at me like, "Are you choking? Did you eat the balloons?" I was like, yes. It all ended up.
Were they
that was
inflated?
no, it was just a bag of balloons uninflated. They looked like candy. But yeah. No, it all turned out fine.
Yeah.
But that was really one of my first memories.
That's like Tide Pods before.
Because everyone was just like yelling at me. I don't know if I did eat the balloons or people thought I did eat. I
Billy
didn't
didn't eat the
I
balloons?
didn't eat the balloons, but everyone thought I had eaten the balloons. But yeah, very stressful moment early in my life.
I'm curious to know what went through your family's mind when they were like, Billy definitely ate these balloons when you didn't eat the balloons. They were all missing. You had one
False
hanging out of your mouth.
accusations.
But you remember that.
Yeah,
You remember being accused of lying.
yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. Anyway, that was my first memory.
Okay, so after listening to today's episode, confirmed PFT, Arian, and Coley are all train guys, right?
Love trains.
Big train guys?
Yeah, love trains.
What do you think, if we built high-speed rail in the United States, what do you think the most beautiful state to train ride through would be?
That's a good question.
Colorado. Because mountains.
You know,
Only state with mountains, Colorado.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be the best one.
Can you go Can a train go over the Rocky Mountains though? That's the question. Go
Yeah.
boom.
I think it's a hypothetical, so why not? I'm gonna throw a curveball in there, bruh. Utah. Utah's gorgeous, dog.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what would be number one, but I know 50 would be Connecticut. Just a miserable state that somehow never ends.
I would say
The coast is nice. They have a train there now. It's beautiful.
the
Donnie,
train
I didn't
on
know
the
you were
Connecticut
going to
coast.
stand up for Connecticut, and now I think less of you now.
I fucking do not like Connecticut, but I have to take the train there back to Boston. I'm telling you.
I've taken that train many
That's
times.
that's a beautiful
It's
train
a
ride. It goes right
brutal,
around. It goes right along the
brutal
coast.
Brutal.
I think Alaska would be nice to take a train.
Oklahoma
out.
would be the worst, maybe.
Yeah, Oklahoma would be pretty bad. Alaska would be nice, except you'd be on a train with people that are in Alaska who are definitely like trying to get away from something.
Since it's
Alaska-
hypothetical,
Alaska is the
Hawaii.
best state for laying low. Just like,
Hawaii
You wouldn't want to be
hopping
in
like
the
goes.
train, though. You'd want to be out of the train in Hawaii.
Yeah, but you're still just looking at stuff.
You could, yeah, for sure.
yeah, fuck Connecticut. I agree.
We're in the train.
Donnie, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. It's actually not my question. It was a question I got DM'd to me on the way to the show, and I think it's right up your guys' alley. Hey, Donnie, how are you? I'm a newer drug user, and just last week I was given a bag of magic shrooms for my birthday. In your opinion, where do you think I should do them? I was thinking about doing it at a football game, #Bills Mafia, this weekend. So I will answer the second half of the question. Absolutely not at a fucking Bills game. Your first time doing shrooms.
Well,
Nah,
no,
bro.
it's a big-
absolutely
wait,
not.
Well, one of the
Maybe
key
your
ingredients-
fourth time.
One of the key ingredients to a good, especially first trip, is like a sense of community, people you trust. Bill's Mafia, they're in lockstep. And now there's going to be a lot of chaos happening, a lot of fire, a lot of tables getting smashed, but everyone's on the same page, so you can kind of trust your surroundings there. That's
I understand what you're doing, but like that dude might really take his advice. So no, don't do that. Dog, like I don't know if you ever been around somebody like just tripping, like that has a bad trip.
Oh, I have.
So like, nah, you want to be in a nice, calm environment with somebody what they usually call a spotter, right? That's been through it, that understands what you're going through. Outdoors in nature, like that's the best vibe. Is like in forest.
Raymond
or-
James Stadium.
that would be my advice. But if you want to do it at a Bills game, my G,
I actually think a Bills game might be the worst place ever.
might be one of the worst.
Because if you think about
not modern Bill, like a Jags game would be, because you can't be in a depressing place, like because that'll like the Bills right now aren't depressing as they have been.
No, that's what I'm saying. You do it at a shitty team's game, it makes the game a little bit more interesting. Like you're watching the Browns play. Sorry. Free Odell. Now, to watching a football team game, that would be a great place to do it because but the Bills Mafia, that would be a terrible environment to do it in because it's nothing like real life out there. You've got a guy that's just getting squirted with ketchup, covered from head to toe with ketchup and mustard, and then you turn around and there's a guy that's jumping off of a bus through something that you normally eat off of, and then you go into the stadium and you've got kids throwing giant dildos onto the field. I think it would be like a little bit too trippy for my
Babylon.
taste.
I'm in Babylon.
But then no one's going to be able to tell that you're on shrooms because everybody around you could
Yeah.
quite easily be on shrooms.
Hey, you're the most sober person there.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably. I used to have a misconception about mushrooms, and that was that they were like, when we think of LSD, or at least I think of LSD, which I've never tried, by the way. Not saying I will never do it, but I've never done it. Where it's like something that can like totally alter your mind. Had some shrooms this summer. It was just like the happiest I've ever been for like 8 hours. And then I fell asleep with a giant smile on my face. Woke up the next day. I was sleeping with a smile on my face. Woke up the next day. Felt great. Wasn't a big deal. Didn't alter my consciousness or anything like that.
It can though.
It can if you take too much.
They call it a hero dose.
Hero dose.
Yeah.
That's above macro dose.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I
So
think
it
you took a macro dose.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It goes nano dose, snacro dose, mini dose, macro dose, hero dose.
Where's just dose?
No, there's no dose. There's no micro. Yeah. Anyone else?
Anyone else?
So this is in reference to the Havana Syndrome episode.
Hey, Brogan.
Hey. So as one of the two females from Virginia Tech, I just want to know if you're going to take back your slander in front of me here.
I will not take back my slander to Virginia Tech. I hold it against Virginia Tech. They didn't let me into their institution. I will never forget what they've done to me. But Virginia Tech's a fine place. You are one of the two girls that went there. It's like Purdue, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech. Can you get enough girls together to start a Destiny's Child tribute band between the three of those schools? Probably not is the answer.
That is fair.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Thank you. Good to clarify.
Arian, who's the biggest degenerate you ever played with in the league?
Define degenerate.
Like drug use wise. Specifically.
I ain't finna just air him out, dog.
Alright. Give me a team.
Huh?
Give me a team.
We can use like code names like
Yeah. Give me something.
like Warley Chithurst.
I think
Rock
You
Osweiler.
know what's crazy? This is crazy. Like, I think people have like a perception of the NFL or just football players in general. Like, everybody's seen Any Given Sunday with Lawrence Taylor standing on a Hummer, sawing it in half, full of cocaine. Like, that's not a thing. It's not a thing though. Like, sure, people do drugs, but it's not crazy. It's like, matter of fact, when I was in college, people did more drugs than NFL.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's your livelihood, so you don't really trying to mess it up like that. So like, but in college, I seen way more crazy shit at parties in college, and in the bars like on Austin than I did.
Well, so now I want to know who the biggest drug user at UT is.
I'm not finna. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, that works for me. Sorry.
I went to UF, so I know a couple of the UF football players drug users.
Sure.
Tebow.
Casually.
Tebow.
Huge.
The answer is
Big
Tebow.
coke guy.
High on Christ.
I have a question.
All right,
I
Avery.
do. As a producer, I don't take a lot of stands as a producer. I kind of stay neutral. But there was a question on the last episode about the weirdest things that we do, right? And I said that food tastes better with water. Everybody said I was wrong. So we're gonna test that theory. I got Oreos, I got water. Everybody's gonna try.
It wasn't okay. Saying food tastes better with water is kind of a normal thing because water is a palate cleanser. I believe the statement was dunking your Oreos into water makes them
He was
taste
saying like you take a bite of food and
then
you
put
jog-
water.
Yeah, put water in your mouth and kind of like blend them together.
No, the shower seems better than this. I would check.
This shit finna be nasty as hell.
I would rather check. Are all these dead? Check.
I feel like I'm on Fear Factor or some shit. Why is there a fork for Oreos?
I would rather do more shots that smell like rubbing alcohol than dip this Oreo in water right now.
All right. So everybody take one to see what it tastes like without the water. Take two. Everyone at the same time. What's fine. Take two. Yeah. So take two.
All right, so we're doing a controlled experiment here. Eating the first one.
All right. So you have to try the first one. There you go. Try the first one. So you have to try the first one.
Oreos are kind of trash.
So you try the first one, and then the second one,
I'm a
stick
double
the
stuffed
fork
guy.
in the middle and dip it. No, like into the cream side. Like yeah. So you dip it. Yeah, there you go. So dip it into the cream side, and now dunk it.
Who
into
came
the
up
water.
with the?
You never seen that, Billy?
No, but who?
So now dunk it into the water, soak it, and try it.
I need another one. My shit broke, dog.
And tell me there's an enhanced flavor. You have to agree with me on this.
Avery, it tastes exactly the same but mushy.
It actually just tastes like water on an Oreo.
If
It could not taste any more than Like I thought that it would.
How long?
and
How
this-
long do you gotta dip it for?
It just dissolved so quickly.
It's like someone chewed it first and then handed it to me.
Yeah, I feel like
Someone
I just got
baby bird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Aaron really dipping it.
I want to bring
He's
up
testing
one
the
last
theory.
thing here. This is I don't know if you guys knew this, but Billy and Arian had
That's just fucking gross.
quite a
I'm glad we cleared it up though.
they had quite a past together online before they ever knew each other. They actually went back
A
and
long
forth.
time ago.
I'm gonna pull this up right now. Billy, just fill some time real quick. Tell me about what you thought about working with Arian when you found out that he was a vegan.
So when we first started out doing this podcast, I had to alert PFT. I was like, PFT, do you remember what happened 5 years ago when I was an intern and I was tweeting Arian Foster, who had just said that he could fight a wolf? And he goes, no, what? I go, me and Arian Foster went at it on Twitter, like very aggressively at each other. So I don't know what the exact words were said, but we had to bring it up on the first episode, if you remember, and just clear the air in order for us to work together. It was a very funny exchange. I think it basically went, I think I can fight a wolf. I was like, not so vegan of you. And he goes, you're corny. And I go, nah, I'm meaty. And yeah, that was the extent of it.
Fucking
Just-
showed me, bro.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out tonight. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit, have a couple drinks, come say hi, be cool. We'll be around. I do think we do have the handsomest, most gorgeous crowd. I think that's been confirmed. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. We'll try to do more of these. I also do think that our podcast could beat up any other podcast in the world. Like, you got
Yeah.
big dudes. In fact,
Bro, Mike Tyson has a podcast.
us five against Mike Tyson.
We'll whoop all our ass. All right.
Yeah. Wait, Billy, how tall is
Y'all
Mike
let me know
Tyson?
how
5'10".
5'10", so you could take him.
Yeah, I think all of us could take him.
I'm not fighting Mike Tyson, though.
I'm gonna opt out of fighting Mike Tyson.
He's fighting in February.
Against who?
Logan Paul.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
I mean, I think he's gonna get him.
You know what's wild? This is the future of entertainment, though. Like this is the
it's
future.
the present for
And I'm just like people are gonna much rather watch shit like that than like the Super Bowl. Like this is the future.
I think we're gonna do it, but for porn. It's just gonna be like two celebrities pay them enough money, they'll fuck on camera. Everybody will watch live stream it. Somebody set that up and says celebrity sex match. Trademark PFT commenter. Pay me all the residuals off that.
You would comment it live?
Yeah. All right, love you guys. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.